So how to build confidence for men when you have social anxiety and you're very shy, you're very introverted, you have negative thoughts, depression and low confidence. Now, the first mistake that men generally make and people make who have anxiety is they tell themselves that, well, I'm not confident. And they allow the anxiety to take over their thinking and they create an identity out of it. So it's very easy to say, well, I'm just not confident, I'm not social. I'm not comfortable around people, I'm not comfortable on camera or job interviews or in relationships or traveling. I'm just a person who doesn't have confidence. If you tell yourself that and you keep telling yourself that and you act on that, you're going to do nothing and that's going to become true. And I used to do this years ago. I would compare myself to what I thought was confident, other men and women, and I'd look at them and say, well, they're more socially relaxed than me. They're more confident, they're more assertive, they're more charismatic. They're better in conversation. But the real truth was that wasn't even true. I told myself that. I put myself down and then I wouldn't go and do new things. So guys that have anxiety and social anxiety, the way that you gain confidence is by exposing yourself to your fears, to your anxieties. And I've said it before, it doesn't really matter what the fear is. What matters is that you face it. So you might have a fear of flying on a plane. If you face that fear, you're going to gain more confidence. You might have a fear of doing public speaking, which everybody has got that fear until they do it. You might have a fear of making a YouTube video and speaking, or a fear of going on a date or a job interview, or you might be afraid to leave your house. You might be afraid just to speak to someone in a supermarket. You might be nervous, you might get awkward. You might be afraid of many things. So what I did was, and what I do for my clients, I get my clients to make a list of all their fears and then gradually over time, encourage them to face those fears. Do exposure therapy, which is basically taking action on a fear, facing it and just doing it gradually. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I would say this as well. Most of these really severe areas where you have anxiety, which most of my clients, and I know I used to have, are in social situations. You're not going to overcome these in one visit. You're going to have to spend some time. And when you realize that, it's actually not a bad thing, it's a positive. So let's say for example, when I was younger, I used to find it really scary and nerve-wracking going to a hairdresser's and getting my hair cut because I was always worried about not knowing what to say. If they start a conversation, they're cutting my hair, or when there's other people, I just felt uncomfortable in that situation. So after going and getting my hair cut so many times, now I'm a lot more confident in that situation. Why? Because I've faced it many times, numerous times. So it's not only enough to set a goal and then to face your fear in that area of that goal that you want to achieve. You have to practice regularly. So I've said this before, one of my clients years ago, I had a client from Germany. And one of the fears that he told me was airports, was the checkout bit. He said that when he would go through, I think, is it customs or I think it's there, when the people would ask for his passport, he said he would go red and blush and he would freeze up. And he said he hated that situation. So when we was doing our coaching session, I said, let's change the mindset and let's work at that situation. And one of the tips I gave him, I said, when you go into that situation, expect it to be difficult, expect to be nervous, and guess what will happen? You'll be prepared for the anxiety to come and then you'll be able to handle it better. That's exactly what he done, and he got a better outcome and he got more confident and he overcame it. So this is one of the tips and the techniques that I use that works all the time, and I teach my clients on my 1-year social anxiety program or a 6-week program or weekend program. So this is how you build confidence. You set a long-term goal, you divide it into small term, a short-term goal, and you take small action steps. And the key thing is allowing yourself to make mistakes. If you go into a social situation, you get nervous and then you feel embarrassed, the worst thing you can do is tell yourself, I'm never going to go through that again, because you're never going to overcome it. So what I learned through my journey with facing anxiety and social anxiety, any area where I failed or got embarrassed or got nervous or awkward or felt like I just fell apart and couldn't control my nerves, I would keep going into that situation as many times as it took, until I overcome it. And that gave me a great feeling of satisfaction and confidence. So confidence comes through practice, it comes through experience, It comes from having awareness, and it comes from not judging yourself so harshly, because we all do it. We all judge ourselves because we have an internal critic. But with practice and self-awareness, you can stop judging yourself and turn every negative into a positive. So for me personally, I don't care how much I don't care how much I mess up in a situation. If I do mess up and I feel that I underperform, or I get anxious or embarrassed in any situation, I will not quit. I will make a mental note, and I will follow the same attitude, the same action steps that I've taken for so many years in many other areas of life that have helped me to be successful. Example, when I first started boxing, I was so nervous to go to the gym. I was terrified of the sparring. I mean, I'm talking where I was paralyzed with anxiety. I couldn't even respond. I couldn't even fight back at the start. And it was humiliating for me, and it was embarrassing, and it was awkward, and everybody in the gym saw me get nervous and awkward. But I didn't quit. I kept putting myself through those sparring sessions until I got a bit better each time, until eventually I did fantastic, and I didn't freeze up, and I didn't get awkward, and I didn't vomit, because I vomited at times, and I didn't get exhausted and just get tired and quit, which I did at the start. I was able to get fit and do really well, and that gave me so much confidence. So confidence doesn't just come from things going well and you acting in a confident manner. Confidence, true confidence, comes from going through failure, embarrassment, shame, discomfort, social awkwardness, occasionally people laughing at you or making negative remarks or facial expressions, and you not giving up. And that's real courage, having the heart to make yourself revisit situations where you feel you failed, where you feel that you've embarrassed yourself, or you've let yourself down, or you feel ashamed, however you feel. It's always about how you feel, not how other people feel, or how you think that they feel about you, or how you allow them to make you feel. So that's where the strength comes in, and obviously that takes a certain amount of discipline and courage, focus, and it takes work. And this is the work that I help my clients with, and it's life-changing. So these are all the ways in which any person can gain confidence in any area. And I keep saying it, the confidence coaching that I do helps my clients to be confident in any area they want to be confident in. Because when I started out, and I'm still passionate, I had many areas in my life where I wasn't confident, where I felt insecure, where I felt self-conscious, and I really wanted to be confident in those areas. Some of those areas were business, public speaking, traveling, speaking in front of the camera, boxing, working out, doing weight training, going to new countries, walking around, teaching other people, coaching people, doing public speaking, being a teacher. All these areas were so important to me, and then things like going to job interviews, or going to the doctors, or going to a business meeting, going to new environments, restaurants, high-end places, different places. I wanted to be confident in many different areas. That was a real passion of mine and a drive. And that's what I did, and that's how I achieved it. And I continue, because I'm still working on improving my confidence, because it's a never-ending thing, and that's something that I love, that you never fully just go, I've got here, now I'm perfect. And if you do feel like you've got to a point where you're happy, which is great, you can always improve, and then you've got to maintain it. So this is all the mindset and the attitude. But like I've said before, you can't gain real confidence by reading books alone. It's not going to work. I've tried it. And then everybody I know that does that approach, they fail miserably. They don't change. They don't improve. So the whole thought process, your emotions, your thinking, how you feel about yourself can only change through you working at it and going outside of your comfort zone. And that's really where confidence lies. Confidence doesn't lie sitting down at home in your comfort zone. It really doesn't. It lies coming outside of your comfort zone. Now, this is what most people don't want to accept. The process in which you build confidence and how it happens is never ever where you feel, I feel comfortable. It doesn't happen like that. It's always where you feel vulnerable, where you feel a bit out of control or very out of control, where you feel nervous, where you do feel a little bit self-conscious about what are people thinking about me. But that's where you grow as a person, doing weekend programs, doing events, meeting new people, traveling, having new conversations, coming outside of your routine, breaking that routine, going to gyms, exercising, speaking, learning from other people that know more than you, sharing. All these areas initially are not going to feel emotionally safe. They're just not. And anyone who says different is lying. They're not telling the truth. That's fine. I know they're not telling the truth. So the quicker you accept that and the quicker you realize that, the quicker you're going to change your life and be confident. But the great news is, you know, when you first come outside your comfort zone, guys, and I know the feeling because my clients all say it, and I've had it many times when I did courses with other teachers. It feels alien. It doesn't feel normal. It's not supposed to. But guess what? If you stick at it, a little bit later down the line, as time goes on, it's going to feel normal to you. So what once felt really scary, really self-conscious, outside of your comfort zone, is going to feel normal. And that's because your new comfort zone's changed, it's shifted. So what was hard for you today is going to be easy tomorrow. And then you can keep growing. It's entirely up to you. So this is what I'm passionate about. That's why I got into confidence coaching, because when I was young and starting out in life, I lacked confidence and it held me back in every aspect of my life. And once I gained that confidence, I was able to be successful, care a lot less about people and be happy in my life. And then I went on and my passion, helping other people. So that's how you do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share if you want to share the videos. Let me know in the box below if you've got a lot of confidence from this information. I hope that you're going to act on it. That's the most important thing when I make these videos, is that people are going to go out, come outside their comfort zone and start making changes. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I appreciate all the support. And remember, fearless.